Hi everyone, it's Lisa here, and I just wanted to send you a video this week for the newsletter, something a little bit different. So you get to watch rather than have to read everything. And this week, I wanted to share with you something that came from a conversation that I had with my coach. And I'm sorry, all of a sudden, all these cars are coming, which they weren't before. I'm sitting in front of my beautiful big birch tree here outside, just enjoying the last bit of summer before we go into fall. Um, but just getting back to what I was talking about was a conversation that I had with my coach around just some projects that I have coming up that I'm going to be working on. And I said, well, I think I'm only going to be able to maybe do so much because I said September is a month that actually has a lot of emotional load to it. It's a month that actually has all kinds of mixed emotions. It's the month where I've actually lost several of my family members, my father and my brother. And at the same time, it's also my dad's birthday in September, and it's also my wedding anniversary. So there's this whole mix of emotions in that month. And he made a comment around, there's ways that we can still expand our capacity because it has nothing to do with our capability. And we don't want to confuse those two. And I thought that was an interesting comment, and it got me thinking about a number of things, which is how would I expand that capacity? And I started to think about just the impact of what creates a lot of that emotional load, and a lot of that emotional load comes from the grief that I will likely be experiencing as I get closer into those days in September that remind me of the loss that I've experienced. And so I just wanted to share a couple of things with you that I thought were sort of in keeping with maybe what will help me to really be able to expand my capacity. And one of those things I wanted to share, and some of you may have seen this before, but this actually was something that a palliative care nurse had compiled. I think her name is Bonnie Ware, and it was from her work that she did with people that were in hospice and what they would share with her as they were preparing to transition into that next part of their life, into that next stage of their journey. And there were five main things that, um, five common themes that people shared when they talked about regrets in life. And I wanted to share those with you because I thought maybe those are good reminders for me in terms of how I can actually tap into expanding my capacity as I move into this time with a little bit more emotional load. And so these are the five regrets that people shared with her. The first one was, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. So, really being authentic to who you are, being comfortable being different. You are not going to follow, you are going to march to the beat of your own drum. You're going to pursue what interests you, what brings you joy, and not what somebody else has prescribed for you. And the second one was, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. And she commented that this came a lot from the older men that she looked after, but she said there also were some women. And I think, especially in our day and age now, where a lot more women are also in the workforce, much more so than they had been in the past, and working more hours. And certainly there are also single parents that are being put into that situation. But just that reminder to just really think about the fact that, what, work is always going to be there. But, the people that matter to you, those relationships, the time outside of work is often more important at times. And the third one was, I wish I'd had the courage to express my feelings. So, out of politeness or kindness, sometimes we don't say things, we don't share what's really on our mind for fear of all kinds of things. But in fact, being honest, being vulnerable actually brings us closer to others, as Brene Brown discovered in her work. That vulnerability is actually something that creates connection rather than the disconnection we believe. And then the fourth one was, I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. So we know now from research that social connection, those relationships, and we certainly saw that during the pandemic, are actually incredibly important. And we know that loneliness is actually something that could be as harmful as cardiac disease. So, maintaining that network and creating and nurturing those relationships that you have. And the fifth one was, I wish I had let myself be happier. So, as much as we have those difficult things that happen in life, those challenges that present themselves to us, it's how do we find those moments of joy. And most recently, what I read is actually, in fact, contentment. Having those more less intense emotions can still be really valuable for us in terms of our overall health. And so maybe, we don't actually have to feel like it's happiness, but it could just be contentment that, we're experiencing. So those are those five regrets that people had, and things that we know now that we could choose to do differently. And what I want to leave you with is actually a poem from somebody that I've just started to follow, and she has some really amazing poems that she's been sharing. A lady by the name of Donna Ashworth, and she's just published a new book of poetry. And this particular poem is called "You Will Be Okay." So the poem is, on this journey of life, you will grieve. You will grieve people who are still alive as well as those passed on. You will grieve shattered dreams, and you will grieve versions of yourself and others you had to break free from. But that's okay. In this life, nothing lasts forever. But that same truth comes with the knowledge that all pain will lose its bite too, and great new things will miraculously emerge. Wonderful new people who shine light into your soul will come on in if you leave space. And as long as you cry when you must, laugh when you can, and love those you have every day that your little broken heart still beats, you will be okay. You will be okay. And so I leave you with that. And from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you for being part of my community, and all the comments and things that all the just insights that people have shared with me. It just really brings me so much joy and fulfillment. And I look forward to many more of these connections with you. Take care.